Steve, we don't have Adam Wilde on the show today, so I'd like you to do an impression of Adam Wilde with no voice saying, go to manscaped.com to get 20% off and free shipping with the code DANGLE.
Go to manscaped.com, promo code DANGLE, free shipping 20%.
The Steve Dangle Podcast, powered by Sports Interaction, Canada's sportsbook.
SDPP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
Daddy.
What?
Daddy.
Ooh, on the radio.
Adam.
Yeah, you want to listen to him?
He didn't say yes, but
What was that?
that was Leo and his mother, a.k.a. my wife.
Mrs. Dangle.
Mrs. Dangle. They listen to Adam every morning on the radio.
No, is that... So Leo says, I want to hear...
Adam.
I thought he said daddy.
Oh, he did at first.
Okay.
And also, he's working on it because I wear my SDPN shirt, and the other day he goes, Daddy, and then he points at Adam, he goes, Adam, and then he points at you and he goes, Tis. So he's getting you and Chris confused.
Chris Johnston.
Yes.
Not producer Chris.
No. No,
that's a long time
that's
reference.
a throwback one.
So Leo doesn't know producer Chris, you're saying?
No.
No, okay.
That was long before he was born.
I know.
Yeah.
No, you didn't catch up on all the previous episodes? You didn't go back in the archives and listen to episode 1?
He's not.
Leo hasn't done that yet?
He's like a bandwagon SDPN guy. He doesn't know the lore.
Yeah, he just joined like through the pandemic, you know.
He doesn't
We
get
appreciate all
back
of you,
on
by the way.
tracksuit and all that. No.
Well, Leo, catch up. One day.
One day.
One day Leo will understand what you do for a living.
Yeah, I
And
figured
producer
we would
Chris.
start this kids table episode with an actual kid.
It was adorable. His voice is just majestic.
He's not even 2.
Oh, he
Still not
turns
even
2
2.
in 3 weeks.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
Very
around
soon.
there. I think SL told me about a little get together you're having for Leo, and you didn't even mention that. And I see you 3 times a week.
Yeah, I'm irresponsible. Sorry.
You are quite irresponsible.
Sorry.
Sometimes.
Oh man, like
Oh goodness.
where would I be if I didn't yell into a YouTube camera?
The zoo.
No, I'd be fired by now. Like for sure.
I think you could stick out at the zoo.
I was late for that job too, though. Like so,
You would survive the zoo, Steve. Give
Maybe.
yourself more credit. You'd
Yeah.
probably move up.
I got by on my charm.
You'd be like manager of the zoo. You'd be zoo
Ooh,
manager.
Would I be manager?
Zookeeper. That's the word I'm looking for.
I did make it up to GL, which is group leader.
That's good.
That
For
was a
the
little
tours?
bump up. No, never for the Zoomobile. So I was like one of the only people who worked the Zoomobile, which is the zoo tour, who didn't drive.
Like you didn't have your license.
Yeah, I took one of the courses,
Yeah.
but I never ended up taking my test, my air brake test.
Because you're too irresponsible.
I didn't want to.
Oh yeah.
Well,
You had other more important things to do.
Well, I didn't want to drive, but also most of the people working there, if given the choice between driving and commentating, would drive
Mm-hmm.
because it's easier. There's less dealing with customers and everything. And I was like, well, I kind of want to do this for a living, so. And I saw it as far less responsibility than driving a giant bus around a zoo packed with people. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do the tour.
Yeah, and I think the majority of people would be like, no, I have a fear of public speaking. I don't want to interact with all these customers, that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Well,
Well, you're the complete opposite.
But like that thing can fit 80 people, and on a busy day I would do 8 to 10 tours. So like that's a lot of people.
80 people is a lot to be driving around.
Yeah, man.
And you're what, 19?
No, I was a little older. So yeah, maybe like 23,
23?
22.
Busload of 80 people? That's a lot.
Oh, and some of them are thrilled. Some of them are real pissed.
Some of them are just hot. It's been a long day. They got kids, all that stuff.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, Canadian Domain was always the funniest because, so for those of you who don't know.
What is Canadian Domain?
So it's the Canadian part of the zoo. So it's all the Canadian animals. In a zoo in Canada, it was surprisingly popular. Tourists loved it. But the problem was Canadian Domain is at the bottom of a hill on about a 60-degree angle. So it would just be like, we had a stop at the top of it, and it would just be people going, like just dying, gasping for air. They were usually the quietest customers, and it wasn't until we got to the next stop where they were like, this is, I didn't bargain on this. This is really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to be like, but you went down the hill. You knew you would have to go back up it. Anyway, yeah, people are silly.
So today's show is going to work. We're gonna kick it off with Rick Westhead's article yesterday on the settlement that Hockey Canada reached with a woman who alleges sexual assault against members of the 17-18 World Junior team. And then we're going to bring on David Basto for You Can Bet That. We're going to play some ads. And then we're going to hop over to the Battle of Alberta and the kick goal. And then we're going to do a little St. Louis, Colorado, because they magically kept their season alive. So that's the structure of the show. And before we do all that, I need to say this one little part. Today's Steve Dangle podcast will feature graphic descriptions of and references to sexual assault. Please be warned that this content may be disturbing and triggering to some of you who listening or watching right now. Also be advised that if you have any children who listen along with you, or if you yourself are underage, this content will not be appropriate for all audiences. Yesterday, Rick Westhead released a report that revealed that Hockey Canada and the CHL have settled a lawsuit over alleged sexual assault involving members of Canada's gold medal winning 17-18 junior team. Now, Steve, this is going to take a little bit here.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
I have a section of Rick Westhead's piece that I'm going to read directly from because I feel like this important information needs to get out there. The woman whose allegations are detailed in court records filed in Ontario Superior Court in London, Ontario on April 20th claims she was repeatedly assaulted while intoxicated in a hotel room following a Hockey Canada Foundation gala and golf event in the city in June of 2018. Hockey Canada and the CHL were named as defendants in the case, and were 8 unnamed CHL players, including but not limited to members of Canada's under-20 men's junior hockey team.
That's a very important excerpt that we'll come back to.
Yes, we will. The allegations against the players were never proven in court, and none of the defendants filed a response. The plaintiff, identified in court records as EM, asked a judge to award $3.55 million, and Robert Talek, the plaintiff's London-based lawyer, confirmed to TSN his client accepted a settlement in the case. He refused to say whether the woman has signed a non-disclosure agreement as part of her settlement. In response to the article that came out yesterday, Hockey Canada also came out and responded to TSN. Their spokeswoman said, "As soon as Hockey Canada became aware of this matter in 2018, we contacted local police authorities to inform them. The same day, we also retained Heinen Hutchison, LLP, a firm with extensive experience in this area, to undertake a thorough, independent, internal investigation and make recommendations on areas for improvement, which we have been implementing and will continue to pursue. The person bringing the allegations forward chose not to speak with either police or with Hockey Canada's independent investigator, and also chose not to identify the players involved. This was her right, and we fully respect her wishes. We have settled this matter, and as part of that settlement, we will not be commenting further."
And her lack of participation is common.
Yes, and there's a section in the article that she speaks about her lack of reporting to the police. London Police Service spokeswoman wrote in a statement, I don't want to screw up her name, so I'm going to gloss over it. Okay. Wrote in a statement to TSN that the department does not comment on alleged criminal investigations. The CHL president also wrote in a statement that the league was notified about the lawsuit in early May and was deeply troubled by the allegations. According to the lawsuit, the alleged assaults took place in the early morning of June 19th, 2018, during a 2-day Hockey Canada event in London. The World Junior team was being honored for winning the gold medal and beating Sweden 3-1. The defendant players allegedly bought the woman a number of alcoholic beverages and shots, and she became separated from her friends, growing more intoxicated as the night progressed. The plaintiff said she showed evident signs of intoxication, including glassy-eyed, slurred speech, as she left the bar with one of the players, John Doe 1, and went with him to the Delta London Armories Hotel. After she engaged in sexual acts with him, John Doe 1 invited the remainder of the John Doe defendants into the room without the knowledge or consent of the plaintiff, the lawsuit alleges. According to the lawsuit, the players directed her to fondle her genitals, perform oral sex on them. The players also allegedly straddled the plaintiff while placing their genitals in her face, slapped the plaintiff on her buttocks, spat on her, ejaculated in and on her, engaged in vaginal intercourse with her, pressured her from leaving the room when she tried to, and engaged in other sexual activities with her. The plaintiffs alleged that the actions of the players amounted to conspiracy because the players allegedly encouraged her to drink alcohol, isolated her from her friends, engaged in sexual acts with her, pressured her not to leave when she made an effort to do so, directed her to say that she was sober while being video recorded, and directed her to have a shower after the sexual assaults had concluded. She also alleged that the John Doe defendants pressured her not to report the players to police and to not cooperate with criminal investigation after it was initiated. That's the concludes the part from Rick Westhead's story. It broke yesterday, midday, and after the story broke, the NHL did respond directly to the story, and they released an official statement that says, 2 days ago, the National Hockey League was advised of a lawsuit involving sexual allegations filed against 8 unnamed members of the 2018 Canadian World Junior Hockey Team. We were subsequently provided with the statement of claim containing allegations of behavior that is both abhorrent and reprehensible. We will endeavor to determine the underlying facts and to the extent this may involve players who are now in the NHL. We will determine what action, if any, would be appropriate. We will have no further comment at this time. This is where we're at right now, and Rick Westhead is going to join us on this show on Monday.
Not on Monday.
Not Monday.
But soon. We haven't figured out a date, but he's coming
Okay.
on.
Next week, hopefully?
Hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Okay. Rick Westhead will be
if
on
not
the
next week, then the following. He's busy. He's a busy guy. He's working on a lot of things, and this is a story that I assume he's worked on for a very long time. It goes without saying, the allegations are awful. They're grotesque. And, like a lot of you, I couldn't help but, basically all of Hockey Twitter did the exact same thing. They're like, okay, who was on that team? And that team is almost exclusively in the NHL or has played NHL games, almost exclusively NHL draft picks. But there was an excerpt there that I told you to flag, and I have it here in my phone, that caused a bit of confusion. So here's the excerpt. Hockey Canada and the CHL were named as defendants in the case, as were 8 unnamed CHL players, including but not limited to members of the Canada U20 men's junior hockey team. The hockey players are identified in the 18-page statement of the claim as John Doe's 1 through 8. So again, 8 unnamed CHL players, including but not limited to members of the Canada U20 men's junior hockey team. So what that means and what some people seem to be confused by, or how some people seem to interpret it, is, okay, there were members of the Canadian World Junior Hockey Team included in the 8. But remember, this wasn't at the gala. This was at like a bar afterwards. So in theory, some of the defendants could have had friends of theirs who were on CHL teams who were also at the bar, and they then became involved in the incident. So could have been 1 player from the Canadian World Junior Team, could have been 7, could have been 4, could have been who knows. Then new piece of information comes out afterward, and I don't think this is intentional. I think this is a mistake.
From the Hockey Canada statement that I just read, there's one line that clarifies what you were saying about the CHL players.
So, NHL statement on lawsuit against Hockey Canada and Canadian Hockey League. You just read this, but I want to emphasize it again.
Read the sentence that you think is very important.
So, I'll just read the whole thing, Jesse.
Okay.
Sorry.
Here it is again, everyone.
2 days ago, the National Hockey League was advised of a lawsuit involving sexual allegations filed against 8 unnamed members of the 2018 Canadian World Junior Hockey Team. So this statement slam dunks it as all 8 defendants were part of this World Junior team. Taking the information then from the article that came out before that, it's 8 members of a, 22-man roster? 23?
23, I think it would be.
That's an enormous chunk. That's over a third of that team. But from the original reporting, from the statement in the original reporting, it would seem to include only CHL players from this World Junior team, which would exclude the players on the Canadian World Junior team who were, at the time of their involvement with Hockey Canada, playing in the NCAA.
Okay.
So it's not 8 out of 22 or 23. It's 8 out of 18 or 19.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because there were players, and I really don't want to get into games because I don't, or names, because I don't think a game of Guess Who is appropriate here.
That it's unfair to those people.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, if you were one of the innocent parties, wouldn't you want to shout it from the rooftop?
Right.
But basically, you look at the roster, and there were several NCAA players on the roster. The initial report concludes that all the players are from the CHL, and then the NHL statement says that all the players are from the Canadian World Junior team from 2018. So either one or both of those parties who released those statements has made some sort of error that they should rectify immediately, or they accidentally told on themselves a little bit and narrowed it down. And I looked at the roster like a lot of you. Massive names.
Oh yeah.
Stars.
That's the one thing that really jumped out to me. It was just the amount of current NHL day stars who are playing in all-star games, who are amongst the top 10 most talented players in the league. Yep. And I think that's why fans jumped on the part where they were like, okay, we know it's 8 people from this team in particular, because fans are scared to own this guy's jersey. They're afraid to go to the arena and cheer for them if they were somebody who was involved in something like this that's so disgusting and grotesque.
Members of that team are either award winners or future award winners. They're all-stars, like you mentioned. Members of the Blackhawks organization, which is worth flagging, because if any team is going to want to get something as right as possible, you'd think it'd be them. And some members of that team are currently overseas wearing a Team Canada jersey, playing for Hockey Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So, here we are again. It's an inconvenient time of year for this sort of news to be breaking.
Inconvenient for the hockey, like the NHL.
Yes, but if I'm not mistaken, Rick Westhead's reporting on what would later become the Kyle Beach story began in May. It first broke in May of 2021, and we followed it all throughout the summer. This is huge. This is, I'm sure I don't need to drive home how important this story is. And I don't see how they can do nothing here. I don't see how the NHL can do nothing. Now, this, the survivor, got a settlement, and she seems to want just privacy and peace. I'm not sure what the outcome of all this is. I'm kind of stumped.
Me neither.
I'm not gonna lie.
I think it's right now. We're gonna ask Rick about this. Obviously, he's the one who's gonna have some indication on how it's gonna move forward. But I'm not I don't want to play the guessing game on how I think this is going to unfold or what the NHL is going to do, but there's going to be a subsequent statement. There's going to be something else. Hopefully there's another shoe to drop. And like with the Kyle Beach situation and how that unfolded over several months, I hope it's the same way from the fans of the game of hockey, where we don't let them forget this, that we are very upset and we continually hammer at this story as long as it's on the top of our minds and we keep it there. You know, we can't let it go away, because if we let it go away, then there's nothing else. But I hope that there's something coming, you know?
Well, even the Beach story, when it first broke, it was sort of, I don't want to say broken interest. People seem to be questioning. They're like, is this a big deal?
Mm-hmm.
This seems like a big deal. Should we be discussing this? Because it kind of seems like a big deal. And we all sort of had that conversation. And sometimes, like, we're not a news breaking podcast, right? We're a reactionary podcast. We react to the news.
Mm-hmm.
And this was one of the times where you and I and Adam looked at a story and went, this is not getting nearly enough attention. I would like to think that the community at large has learned over the past year, and this, I don't know, news cycle, I guess we could call it, will go a little differently. That's going to play out over the weeks and months.
I'm going to say, I don't want to name names on their reporting in the story, so this isn't like calling them out or anything. But when Kyle Beach first came out, nobody talked about it in the mainstream hockey media. I'm just going to say that. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody shied away from commenting on the story, from reporting it, for following up, to looking into it. And then now we see, okay, now we have another incident where it's a terrible act of sexual assault among hockey players, some maybe currently in the NHL. And at least I saw during the middle of a playoff game, they had Friedman talk to McLean, and he said the story is something that exists. You know, he described that the lawsuit happened. They at least acknowledged it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
That's
obviously I was streaming.
You're in the middle of your own intermission, but it's such a baby step, and I wish they would go further. But at least now we're in the realm of people recognizing their mistakes from what happened with Kyle Beach and the reporting on that. And now we're getting an actual, okay, the story broke. Let's go to television and talk about it.
Yeah.
That's at least one step forward. I would like to see more leaps being made, but at least it's a step.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I can't wait to talk to Rick, because there are a number of legal roadblocks in the way here.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll ever know the full story.
Mm-hmm. And if that's what the victim wants, then that's where we have to leave it.
I mean, you have to respect their wishes, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how this ends.
Me neither.
Yeah, I mean, it's a heavy day yesterday, man. Like we were talking about it. Like, okay, what do you want to talk about first?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, I spent most of yesterday, like, you know, kind of freaking out. And you were like, why? And you thought it was like something work related. I'm like, no, there was a shooting on my parents' street.
Right.
So
it's been a difficult week for the world.
Yeah.
If you follow the events in America. And so that's where we're going to leave the story. We're not going to let it die. We're going to follow up. We're going to follow up whenever Rick can come on. As soon as he can come on, we're going to have him on the show, and that's where we're going to follow up. And as I said off the top of the show, it's a very difficult conversation. And if you know anybody, or if you yourself need any resources for victims of sexual assault, they will be in the description of this podcast below. Find those links. We have Canadian American links there. So if you need those resources, please go to those links. And also, it'll be right above the links there, and below that we'll have our responsible gaming links. Because next up we'll have David Bastel joining us for You Can Bet That. So yeah, then our next segment there is 19 plus.
Please play responsibly, and we apologize for the sharp right turn. But
it's the nature of these stories. Like, we don't have a choice, but we have to talk about them. They have to be at the top of the show because they are the most important thing. Hockey is irrelevant when these actions are being taken place and these stories come out. So yeah, we're gonna be joined by David Basto coming up. We're gonna play some ads and let's get to You Can Bet That. It's time for You Can Bet That with David Basto. And David, sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. First, I got to get that out there.
Absolutely.
David, you gave everybody some great info on Connor McDavid, Conn Smythe odds. And if they listened to you, they could be sitting real pretty right now. But if they didn't, what's happening right now with the odds on McDavid winning the Conn Smythe and what's going on there?
You know what, Jesse? But you know what? That it looks good in that regard. But then if Calgary ends up winning, then it's like, well, why did you pick McDavid? You know what I mean? So basically, and we came out and said it. If you think the Oilers are going to win, jump on the McDavid odds right now, because right now at Sports Interaction, those numbers have cut in half. And that's a massive jump when you look at odds boards for something to be 9-something to be cut to 4.5, because that's what it is. And if the Oilers keep on winning in the Western Conference, that number is going to dwindle lower and lower and lower. So he's out of this universe right now in this postseason. So if the Oilers get remotely close, like we could even be seeing a scenario, and I know it doesn't happen often, but even if the Oilers get to the Stanley Cup final and lose, he still might win the Conn Smythe Trophy.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen that bubbling with the hockey Twitterites that McDavid, no matter what happens from here on out, deserves the Conn Smythe.
Dude,
Has to get to the Cup final, though. Has to get to the Cup final.
he has. It was 25 points, I think, before last night. I don't know what he's sitting at now. And then there's Draisaitl, who is only a few points behind, and then 10 points back is Kucherov, who's tied with the other line mate, Evander Kane.
Yeah.
Like, it was, oh my gosh.
It's unreal.
He's mutant from outer space right now.
Mm-hmm. And the series that nobody expected to still be going,
Yes.
Colorado St. Louis, that goes tonight. What are the odds looking like there? Does St. Louis have a chance in the world to win tonight?
Oh yeah.
You know what? Money coming in on the St. Louis Blues as we speak to push this to a 7th game. Pretty good value. You can get them at a 2.47 right now at Sports Interaction, over under at 6.5. Colorado, they're on the road. Are they going to squeeze the stick a little too hard to kind of kick themselves in the what? But money right now, guys, on the St. Louis Blues. I don't know how you're feeling about that, but I think it's worth a little bit of a flyer on the Blues to push it to 7.
Steve, you remember what happened with Vegas?
Dude, Demons,
Colorado went up and then they went down.
Demons with a capital D. Demons with a capital D.
Seriously, you're right.
If they lose tonight, it's going to be a problem.
And that could just be a mental thing, just with the Leafs,
100%.
because they're the most talented team. Like, dude, I don't think anybody disagrees with that.
How'd they lose Game 5?
Right?
How did they lose Game 5? That was that looked very
3-0.
familiar.
Up 3-0, you blow it. McKinnon's goal.
And I should tell you, based on our conversation here with the Avalanche, Nathan McKinnon, after that 3-goal performance, skyrockets back to number 1 in the odds race for the Conn Smythe. So
he leaped Cale Makar, because that's who was number 1 last time.
Correct.
Wow,
Okay.
He leaped his own teammate. Wow.
Yeah.
So last thing,
Yes.
you have, Steve Dangle, a rooting interest in the Champions League final. Can you explain what's going on?
I love it.
My father-in-law is a Liverpool fan. I have to root for Liverpool. What are my odds?
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's about 2 times your money. So it's not too bad. Liverpool, the favorites in this one, at a 206. Real Madrid coming in at a 330. The draw, which basically means that it gets pushed into extra time, is at a 355. So right now, Liverpool by rights, and when you look at the numbers as based on odds, looking like a 2-1, 3-1 win on Saturday, which would be good for you and your family, Steve.
It certainly would. It certainly would. You'll never walk alone.
Oh,
What is
yeah,
that?
that was the
What does that
stuff.
mean?
I
I'm
like
learning.
It. I like it.
It's like their motto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
I'm learning about something.
As an impartial observer, I'm going to bet on the draw, just so
Okay.
everything's even. You know, and everybody ties and wins. And the
Maximum
ghost
stress.
Yeah.
Jesse, please. Leo loves his grandfather. Like, Jesse. Oh my God.
Oh, and I wanted to bring this up. I know we were talking about this before, but Jesse Blake Sports Report, Marc-Andre Fleury, Toronto Maple Leafs.
No.
Toronto Maple Leafs.
So
I'm giving a
yesterday,
tease to the audience. Check out the podcast. It's a very good one. Toronto Maple Leafs.
In the video game or real life?
this is real life.
Do we have odds on that?
There's
We
no
don't,
way.
but I can look into it for you, Daniel.
Not yet. Oh.
Hey! Flurry to Leaf odds. That's pretty good.
Okay. So would you guys want to see Marc-Andre Fleury in blue and white this upcoming fall?
I'd be hard to say no.
That's a thing.
I'd be sad to see Jack Campbell go. I'm fine with signing an older goalie as long as A, they're really good, and he is, so he fits that criteria, and B, there's a plan going forward.
Right.
Because you got to have a goalie of the future. You know what I mean? Or some sort of plan going forward.
Makes sense.
So I'm interested to see how that goes.
2 cheap deals, Campbell Flurry tandem. Who hates that?
There's no chance.
Look at this.
2 cheap deals. 2 cheap deals. 2 of the most sought after goalie free agents.
Hashtag hometown discount.
Yeah, baby. David
And
knows.
both of them aren't from Ontario.
Yeah, for a dude from Quebec and I think Michigan. Yeah, okay, Jesse.
No, I believe. All right. David, thank you so much. This was fantastic. Sportsinteraction.com/SDPN if you want to get involved in any of these bets. It's 19 plus as always. Thank you, David. We'll see you next week.
Take care.
So you need to find the right candidates and you need to hire them fast? You should check out Workable. Workable can help. Workable accelerates every step of the hiring process from find to hire. And Workable helps you cast the widest possible net by posting all of your jobs to all the top job boards. They help you with video interviews and e-signatures, and they will even automate repetitive tasks like scheduling interviews so you can spend your time on what's important. Like, I don't know, watching all of Austin Matthews' 60 goals on YouTube this summer.
It takes longer every year.
That's true. Whether you're hiring for your coffee shop or, I don't know, SDPN, Workable is exactly what you need to hire the right people. Start hiring right now with a risk-free 15-day trial. Just know that if you hire during the trial, it doesn't cost you anything. And a lot of people will. Workable.com. Start hiring. Workable is hiring made easy. Hey, did you know that Athletic Greens was created when the founder experienced a ton of gut health issues and ended up basically on like some complicated supplement routine? It cost him $100 a day.
He wasn't very poopy. He needs
would
to get
assume that
more
had
poopy.
something-
You know?
He possibly.
I don't know, I'm just guessing.
I listen. That is not a part of the script story, but
We should find out.
You know, maybe
Was he poopy
It's
enough?
not. I stole Adam's laptop.
He did create Athletic Greens after experiencing how difficult it was for an optimal routine. We made fun of TJ from Virgin Radio on this about, having his own, his girlfriend lay out his pills every morning. You don't have to do that with Athletic Greens. It costs you less than $3 a day. It's cheaper than getting all those different supplements yourself, and you're investing in an all-in-one nutritional insurance. It's keto, it's paleo, it's vegan, it's dairy-free, it's gluten-free, and it contains less than 1 gram of sugar. And here's what you need to do right now. Time to reclaim your health and your immune system, especially heading into flu and cold season, which, again, you can hear a little bit of it in my voice right now.
Stay away from me.
To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you 1 free year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/SDP. Again, athleticgreens.com/SDP to take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
This is a little different than podcasting with Adam because I like my physical pieces of paper and notes.
I get that.
When I do the shows. Yeah, you get that?
I get that.
Like something tangible to hold, and like I'm an old news desk guy. I've been putting the papers down and sitting back and tightening my tie.
But I find them to be, first of all, I'm getting more and more blind. So the font needs to be bigger and bigger. But also, I'm not a good read and look up guy. When I read, I need to read.
You gotta put it in front of your face. You gotta look at the words.
So I've gone more, usually when I'm emceeing a wedding, let's be honest, I'm more bullet point guy now. Yeah, I can't have the full thing in front of me. Like that's a nightmare. That's what I'm seeing right there. That's a nightmare for me.
Yeah,
That's okay.
It's mostly bullet points, but I like to have a little bit of this was my thought at the time. Like I'll write down a full sentences of what I'm thinking. Like if I'm watching the game, I'll type it all out, and then I have that sentence, and then I go from the bullet points of my thoughts.
I write thought triggers.
Okay.
But the problem is sometimes the thought doesn't trigger. And I'll read it and I'll be like, I don't know what I meant to say here. I don't remember.
Since we're here, this is a complete aside. We're going to get to the Battle of Alberta, I promise. So the LFRs.
Yes.
You watch the Leafs game.
Yes.
You don't take notes, or you put down your thought triggers.
Sometimes.
And then you just go.
And then I just go.
So, because your line is, if it's important to remember, I'll remember it.
Yes, which is not always true, but I'm usually very good at it.
Okay.
I'm usually very good. It's once every 5 or 10 games I'll forget something, but like it's usually not like crucial to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just remember like silly friggin' mistakes that I've made over the years. Like here's an idea of like how tortured I am in remembering my own mistakes. There was a game, it might have even been LFR 1. It was LFR 1 or 2, and we're in LFR 15 now, where I looked at Jonas Frogren's ice time. Jonas Frogren, that's how far back we're going. I looked at Jonas Frogren's ice time, and he played it was like 4 minutes, and I was like, why is he even in the lineup? He's a defenseman. That's stupid that he's taking up a roster spot if you're only going to play him that amount of time. And all the comments are like, he was hurt, Steve.
You're railing on a guy who's out with an injury.
It's just I missed it. I missed it. It's like that dude from what was it, BBC is oh yeah, there was a red card, and he's like, oh, I must have missed that.
I don't know that.
You don't know that famous clip? Oh,
No,
you've definitely seen it. Where they go to the sideline reporter to ask him about a red card that just happened in a soccer game.
Okay.
And he's like, there was? And he looks behind him and he's counting the players, and they're like, yeah, there was a red card. Count the players. There's not enough guys. He's like, yeah, no, I saw him go off, but I thought there was a sub.
That's a dude who needs to be better at his job.
He still works there. It's BBC or Sky Sports. I can't remember.
Right.
Yeah, he still has his job.
I watched it because now I'm into F1, so I watched all the races and all the practice and qualifying and that stuff. So I watch a lot of Sky Sports randomly now because that's who TSN usually rebroadcasts from. They're fantastic at what they do.
They do great television.
Oh, yeah.
In Britain. Yeah, they do great television.
Yeah, British TV, they've nailed it. Okay, so follow up with your LFR.
Sorry.
So you go just off the top of your dome like Jay-Z. You freestyle into the camera.
Yep.
So the way, because it's a beautiful product, Steve.
Oh goodness,
it's a beautiful product. But in the end, it kind of has like a story, the story of the game. It's all outlined there in kind of segments as well. It's beautifully done.
Too long, some might say. But
sometimes it's like 20 minutes. Sometimes it's 10. Who knows? Is whatever.
I really try to keep it short.
How does Drew, your editor, producer Drew, who started this season editing the LFRs, how does he feel about the way it's shot? Because you do it where you're stopping and starting each chunk?
Not anymore.
How does that work?
Not anymore. So this is the first year ever where I haven't done that.
Okay, so explain what you used to do and then what you do now.
So what I used to do, and this would be easier editing for me, is I would shoot my take and I talk really fast. So sometimes I'll screw up once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. I've screwed up like 20 times.
Mm-hmm.
If it's got to be, sometimes I'll shoot it and it's got to be super fast, but it's a super long thing I have to say. And if you see that and you're like, how the hell did he do that? Just know that it took me like 10 or 15 takes to actually get it. But what I would do is stop and start. I would upload all the clips into iMovie, not even a good editing software. It was iMovie. And I would just cut the top and tail. And I knew that the vast majority of the time, the last take in the clip is the good one.
Right.
There was the rare occasion where, like, this to me is far more impressive that I would remember this than any detail of the game. The video would have like 100 to 150 clips in it, and then I'd get to clip like 117, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I did 5 takes on this one. I got to take 4.
Damn.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would do that and just top and tail. I did that for the first like couple videos, and Drew was like, please stop. Yeah, please stop doing that.
Wow.
He said clap. So what I would do is I would clap. So I record the whole thing. And that's so counterintuitive for me because I have to send him the footage. And by recording one long thing, that's more footage and it's going to take longer to send to him.
Yeah.
But he said for him personally, his editing style or the software he uses or whatever, sending it all one take, and I'd go blah, 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 clap, blah, 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 clap. He said that's much easier.
Yeah, it sounds from the way I edit as well. I would prefer that way.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why? I think it's just because you have it all on the timeline.
Yeah.
And then you can just cut the space in between. I could just do shortcuts on my keyboard and just go along the timeline and just cut the spaces and they'd all just clap together.
Right.
You know?
But then wouldn't you then also have all the mistakes? Like, how would you know what's a good take and what's a bad take?
Do you not always just do the last one?
Not always. This is the thing.
Right. So I don't know how he would do it. I don't know how he does it. Maybe we'll bring on Drew to talk about how to edit the LFR.
And it's tough for him because he doesn't get to ask me, hey, did you mean to do this or this? Because I'm asleep.
Because you send it and then you go to bed because it's usually like midnight.
What's the whole point?
Yeah.
It's the whole point of getting someone to, I don't stay up and then, surf the internet till 4 a.m. because the whole thing was like, I want to be a functioning adult in society.
It was such a necessary step to get an editor. It's a great decision.
It's an unbelievable feeling. The fall was so nice because I was still getting used to it. And the amount of times I would shoot and I'd finish and I'd be like, fuck, now I got to edit. No, I don't. Hey, now the only problem is now I stay up until it's fully sent to Drew. But I used to just like click send and go to sleep. But there were 1 or 2 times where there'd be like an error. Or like, what if the power goes out?
Right. No, that makes staying up to see it send is just going to your kitchen and waiting around and leaving your computer. Like you're not doing anything.
Playing Wordle.
I've never played Wordle.
It's a very fun game.
I don't really know what it is. I don't really care.
I enjoy it very much.
Okay, it's playing Wordle. It's not doing anything,
No.
So it's good.
Or playing video games sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, it's great. So
Last 40 minutes.
Last question on this. So you'd have originally before this year, you have your 117 clips. Let's say
something like that.
200 clips. How long does that take you to edit? Once you're done shooting, how long would it take you to edit and get it to the upload part?
That's a good question. Oh man. So I had very tough editing decisions to make because a lot of those like rapid cut ones where like there was one where I pretended to like punch myself in the face with a hockey glove or if I superimpose like a photo, like all of that, they would be decisions in the moment where I go, ugh, this is going to be really funny and it's going to make the video better, but it's going to make my life harder. Like, this is going to be harder to do.
Especially because you're on iMovie.
Yes.
And it's very basic editing. And if you were in something like Premiere, you could probably do that in like 5 seconds.
Oh my God.
Like bringing in an image and putting it in iMovie on top of your video is a difficult task.
Dude, it's such a... And like the ones where like the image would go into a transition and oh man, well, like what a pain in the ass. And now I'll literally just tell Drew what to do. And he's so good at following those instructions because what I started to do as an editing technique, because it would just make certain clips funnier, is and like other YouTubers do it too. I would talk, and then
oh god,
zoom into my whoops.
Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Steve hit the mic for anybody listening.
Zoom into I'm sure they heard. I would and then it would zoom into my face for like emphasis or something like that. And then zoom back out. And so I just tell him to do that now.
Just be like, hey, I want this here.
I'm surprised. So you know how I used to always leave my hand in? Because that would be an editing signal to myself. This is where an image goes.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would miss it.
Right. Sometimes there would be in the LFR just a weird Steve has his hand up on the screen.
Yeah. I can't believe Drew has never accidentally left in like okay, Drew, and now put this here. And then Drew here, so the picture's going to go here, and I'm going to point at it, and then it's got to go away.
That's because it's his job, and he's good at it.
Yeah. Well, it's...
Imagine you had an editor who had a bunch of mistakes.
Well, watching Drew do his job made me realize this is not my job.
And you should have stopped it a long time ago.
It's like, you know how, like, some people are handy around the house, but you wouldn't necessarily pay them to do it. Like, I can change a tire. I am not getting hired by a mechanic.
You're not working at CAA and driving around changing tires.
I'm not getting a job at Midas. You know. Oh, so you changed your tire once at home? Yeah. Oh, and you were so proud that you called your dad? Yep. And you were how old? 27. Yeah, you're hired. It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to do this segment. This is fun.
No. I really like these. I like these discussions. People should know how the sausage is made sometimes.
It's a lot of fun.
Let's do Kickgate.
Dude.
Before we get into Kickgate, one important thing needs to be said. We are going to do the whole, did Blake Coleman kick the puck? But Edmonton beats the Flames in overtime. McDavid scores.
Absolutely.
5-4. It's a 5-game series. The game was not lost because Blake Coleman's goal was taken back. The Calgary Flames had a 2-0 lead in Game 2. They had a 2-0 lead in Game 5.
They had a 6-2 lead in Game 1.
They had which they won. They won.
But
they only won one game in the entire series. Edmonton's first line combined for 25 points.
I'm honestly
in the
surprised
last
that's it.
3 games.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
In the last 3 games of the series, 25 points for the top line.
They averaged over 8 points each.
Calgary's top line in the last 3 games, 2 points. Jake Markstrom had an .852 save percentage. Goudreau, I have a good friend. His name's Peter. He's from Calgary. He's a huge Flames fan.
Peter Klein?
No. My friend Peter Farrell.
Oh.
Peter Klein, who does Game Over Calgary.
I was like, just say
the
Peter
guy
Klein.
who does Game. No. Peter, I hope one day we're good friends, but I don't think I'd initially describe you as a good friend. I'd probably describe you as a host on the network.
Not yet.
Not yet. We will be good friends. Peter, you're my good friend as well.
You're invited to Schwallywood.
He agreed that Johnny Gaudreau looks scared at times in the last 3 games of that series.
Well,
he didn't want to hold on to the puck.
And that's bad because he was the best member of that line.
Oh, yeah. Kachuk?
Useless.
Non-existent.
No.
Those are the reasons the Calgary Flames lost the game and the series.
Yeah. Lindholm had a number of near misses yesterday. He could have had a hat trick.
Oh, yeah.
And he might have had 2 shots on goal.
That's why Calgary lost. But before we get into the series wrap-up, if we want to hit it afterwards as well, what did you make of Blake Coleman's hopefully go-ahead goal that was taken back after the refs determined that it was a distinct kicking motion? He kicked the puck into the net, and the goal was not allowed.
Well, it should also be mentioned that even if the goal stood, Edmonton could have tied it again.
Yeah, there's still time.
And frankly, the way the series has gone, I'd call it likely.
Right. It wasn't like it was overtime.
In the moment, and on the stream, I thought for sure that was going to be a goal. It's crossing the line anyway. It's not a distinct kicking motion. And based on the games I have seen this season, remember the theme of the early part of the season? Like, there's always officiating themes, and things seem to start creating a pattern. The pattern was nothing was a kick. Nothing was a distinct kicking motion worthy of calling a goal back. And there were a number of goals that counted that were going around Twitter yesterday. And one of them was and I forgot about this, the Chris Tierney. He boots the thing into the net against the Leafs. And it was at the height of Peter Mrazek getting, crapped on and everything. No, Jesse, we can't show the footage.
No, we're not showing it. I'm just bringing it up for us.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, he kicks the thing. Now, I think the argument at the time was his skate does not come off the ice, which is absurd. But then there's a goal against the Flames, ironically. I think it was Nate Thompson of the... I can't remember the name of the...
What day did it happen?
I don't know.
It happened on March 30th, 2021. Nate Thompson kicks a goal directly into the net.
Boots it! And this is the crazy thing.
Like, he's messy.
No, yeah. Like, so the whole reason you're not allowed to kick pucks in, presumably, is you're wearing knife shoes, right? And you could cut someone's friggin' arm or leg or neck.
And Ronaldo over here is foot a foot off the ground.
You should not be able to simply... Like, oh my God! That's unbelievable.
I'm gonna put
watching
up a
it
still.
again.
I'm gonna put up a still on the screen so people watching on the YouTube channel can see how high Nate Thompson's foot is off the ground after he connects with the puck.
If that's a goal and Blake Coleman's isn't, I don't know what we're doing here, man.
Right.
I don't know what we're doing here. Now, wait, this couldn't have been this season. This must have been last.
This was 2021.
Oh, okay, because I was like, wait a sec, there's no fans there.
Yeah. March of last year.
Oh my God, his skate is a solid few inches off the ice. And I don't care if he literally holds his leg up like a flamingo and it goes in off his leg. If there's no movement at all, okay, maybe. He's kicking. He's kicking. For the love of God. This is a distinct kicking motion, for crying out loud, for Pete's sake. And then Blake Coleman basically helps the thing across the line while, and this is important, while tangled up with Cody Ceci.
Mm-hmm. Well, he doesn't have access to his other leg because it's against the goalie and against Ceci. It's trapped.
No, so I don't know, just fly into the goalpost then and lose all your teeth then. So in the moment last night, I thought it was clearly a goal. I slept on it, watched it again this morning, and you know what? I actually think it's more of a goal this morning than it was last night.
Oh, I didn't think that's what you were going to say.
Dude, again, no cheering interest in the... Listen, I work at Sportsnet, and we were like, hey, a Canadian team guaranteed in the Final Four. Hooray. And I was happy to follow the Flames into the conference final. Believe me, there are people who are happy that Connor McDavid is in the Final Four.
There's
finally.
Some executives who are like, yes, TV rating.
Absolutely. And you're going to... Listen, a lot of people are going to be like, I don't really give a shit about the Oilers, but Connor McDavid, he might do something crazy, so I'm going to tune in. That's a goal. It's a goal. The Flames, not of the game, but of the goal, were robbed.
Yes. And I want to know your thoughts on this part, because I find this part of the interpretation of the rule the most egregious thing. So the NHL released a statement on the call here, and I'm going to bring it up if you'll give me a second.
Well, this is great, because then we get to get into a conversation that we seem to have so often with the National Hockey League. So all the refs can do is enforce the rules. But then we get into the conversation of what the rules are and what the rules should be. I look at the Nate Thompson kick-in goal, and I look at the Chris Tierney goal, and I look at the Blake Coleman no goal. And I, as a fan, say, I don't care what the rule is. I care about common frigging sense. And either all of those are goals or none of them are. I'm okay with it not counting, but the precedent is it clearly should count based on the ones that have counted.
Here is the official rule that the NHL says Blake Coleman violated. A goal cannot be scored on a play where an attacking player propels the puck with his skate into the net using a distinct kicking motion. A puck that deflects into the net off of an attacking player's skate who does not use a distinct kicking motion shall be ruled a goal. My problem with the interpretation of the rule is that at no point did Blake Coleman kick.
No! Chris Tierney boots the thing with the toe of his skate, and it counted! Oh, that's a ridiculous call. It's a ridiculous call.
I understand the argument that Coleman in the moment is such a high performance athlete. He's one of the best hockey players in the world just
Sure.
by the metric of being in the National Hockey League.
Sure.
He's top 0.0% of athletes in the world.
Yep.
He can, in the moment, know that there's a puck there. It's a couple inches from the line. I'm going to put my skate next to it, and it's going to push it a little bit over the line.
Or how about he's flying forward anyway, and I'm literally just going to extend
Just
my
going to
leg.
go by it. Yeah. Okay, you want to say he did that? I'll accept that argument. I don't think he did, but like, okay, I'll accept it.
Sure.
He didn't kick it then.
No.
Doing that, extending his leg and touching the puck over the line still isn't a kick.
It's a
And
nonsensical
the only
call.
way you should overrule this call, the call on the ice was a clear goal.
Yeah.
The ref pointed to the net and said goal. So
Wes McCauley and Eric Furlat, two of
So
the most experienced guys in the league.
you have to have indisputable evidence to overturn a call. It can't be up for debate. And what happened there is clearly up for debate.
Yep.
It's clearly not distinct kicking,
Well,
which is the rule.
They felt different. Now, we had this discussion before the game. Is it the war room in Toronto or the officials? And you said what?
I'd love to know.
Well, you said, but you think it's in conjunction.
I think I don't know the actual who makes the final call or how it works, but I thought the way Wes McCauley was looking at the iPad and the way they had the camera shoot over to Toronto and the guy in the war room with the 80 TVs.
Oh, man. First, we got to get them a better thing to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Cups on.
Oh, yeah.
That's absurd.
Oh, yeah. So I think they're talking.
It's like hold your iPad up.
Yeah, it's
That's
like,
what they're using.
This is the iPad Pro. Like it's 12 inch, it's 10 inches, I think. That's kind of what they're using to make this call that impacts like millions of dollars in a whole hockey game.
And they're making it on like a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Dude.
A Nintendo DS. Let's go even further back.
Oh my God. It's so bad.
So I think the call is made in conjunction with the refs and Toronto. I think they talk it through. Why would you not? You know, it's
Oh,
two
of course.
people, you want to talk about it. And then I don't know how you come to that conclusion.
It's a horrible call.
Also, you have the broadcast on, but you can't hear it.
Right. So I was shocked.
when Wes McCauley goes over to the penalty box to look at the replay, the broadcast thought it was for offsides.
Yes. So they showed that, and then I was like, oh, well, it's clearly not offside. It was kind of close, but with the new rule, the what
the line goes to the roof.
Right. But they called that something.
Oh,
I can't remember. Whatever. The blue line goes to the roof.
Yeah.
I think it was Mangiapane they were looking at. He ended up being onside.
My point with that is nobody knew that Coleman could have kicked the puck in. Like the initial thought of like the Rudy doing the color commentary, the camera people in the truck.
I haven't heard any of this. That's funny.
Was that it's off? Let's go look. They're taking a look at offside. Wes McCauley's looking at the offside. Let's go to the offside replay and see if he was offside. And they're like, oh wait, he's actually reviewing the kick.
Well, okay. So in fairness to not the Edmonton Oilers, so the Oilers have nothing to do with it. Like they're not guilty or innocent. They have no involvement in the play. It's the Flames versus the officials. And the second I saw the replay and it goes off Coleman's skate, I'm like, oh, they're going to review this.
Oh, that was your first thought? Yeah.
My first thought was they're going to review this and it'll count. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. It should have been, I don't know, because they usually say the longer the review takes, the more likely it is they're going to go with the call on the ice. I just don't understand how it's not a goal, man.
Where do they go from here?
Who's they?
The NHL. Do they make changes to the rule?
What changes need to be made? Literally just enforce the thing consistently. It makes no sense that Chris Tierney's goal counts. It makes no sense that Nate Thompson's goal counts. And there was another one. Chandler Stevenson against the Seattle Kraken. Which is like, if the puck is on your instep, right, on the inside of your foot, and you flick your foot inward, they would call that a distinct kicking motion. Chandler Stevenson flicks his foot the other way on the outside of his foot, and it's fine. Well, like, we need to get to the crux of what is the problem that you have with goals being kicked in? Why aren't you allowed to do that? Is it
it's dangerous.
Right.
We can't as a sport, you can't have guys going around trying to kick pucks with knife shoes on.
I'm okay with Blake Coleman's goal not counting, but none of those other ones are allowed. Then
They should all be banned.
they should either all be banned or all count.
Yeah.
And with the precedent the NHL set, there's no way that's not a goal.
I don't know if you're listening. I don't know if you remember the Chandler Stevenson goal, but
Yeah, we can't show it to you, but
it's an egregious outside of the foot kick. He clearly he makes no attempt to play the puck with his stick.
no.
He plays the puck with the outside of his foot and he directs it into the net.
The effort from Philip Grubauer on this shot is shocking.
The lack of effort.
The lack of effort, part of me wonders if they're like, yeah, you know what? That's clearly a kick, but this goalie stinks.
Oh yeah.
Like, dude,
So
he was so bad this season.
Stevenson redirects it with the outside of his foot.
Yep.
Why is this a goal and Coleman's isn't it?
I don't know.
That's
Well, and
we don't know the rules.
I'm trying to think, and obviously the majority of the games I watch are Leaf games. I don't remember who it was. I want to say Matthews maybe, but he had a goal on his instep, and it's this exact play from Stevenson, except the difference is the puck is on the outside of his foot rather than the inside. They're both flicks. They're both little flickies.
The rule doesn't describe inside outside foot. It just says don't distinctly kick it.
Who's to say what is and isn't a distinct, like, I'm saying the rule is greatly left up to interpretation. Why can't we use common sense? Like I go back to the Tierney one. Well, his skate doesn't leave the ice. Okay, fine. But he kicked it.
Right.
Like, I can kick Jesse in the toe right now.
Don't do that.
I won't. But I could slide my foot across the floor and you'd be like, ow, did you just redirect me?
And you say, no, it wasn't a distinct kicking motion, so
No,
it's allowed.
It's fine.
I can hurt you.
It's fine. In UFC, oh man, I've seen some crazy redirections.
Also, if that's how we want to interpret the rule, to stop on your skate, you don't really leave the ice a lot of the time. Like, it slides across the ice. They're skates. If you're telling guys they can kick with if their skate doesn't leave the ice, they're gonna do it.
Blake Coleman is perfectly entitled to position his feet the way that they were.
And at that point in the ice, like, he
Yeah.
can put his skate there.
He's on his way to falling down.
And he does fall down.
And CC had already fallen.
Yeah.
And like, part of me was like, are they going to review for goalie interference? But they didn't.
Mm-mm.
They didn't.
I don't get it.
To me, it's the wrong call. Edmonton won. Edmonton was the better team. Edmonton still might have won had this goal have counted. I'm not trying to take a thing away from the Oilers, but on this particular goal, I think the Flames got robbed.
What are your takeaways from the rest of the series? I did my thing off the top before we got into that. What are your thoughts?
Man, Jay Woodcroft is a huge difference for this team, eh? People are also... I can tell who is and isn't watching the Oilers based on the conversation around them, because I'm seeing a lot of people... Like, Draisaitl literally broke a record. He's the first player in NHL history to have 3+ points in 5 straight games, I believe. McDavid is still the best player in this series because he's taking two players who are injured and giving them legendary numbers. Evander Kane is on a pace. I read somewhere he's on a goal-scoring pace in the Stanley Cup playoffs that we haven't seen since Alexander Ovechkin the year the Capitals won the Cup.
Damn.
He's at 12, and they've won 2 series. So in theory, by the time they win the Stanley Cup, he could have 24. He could have more goals in these playoffs than he did in the regular season. which we have seen before, but not in the 20s. You know, it's like, oh, some guy had 7 goals in the regular season, and oh man, look at the playoff he had. He has 8 or whatever. But McDavid does so much for this line. Leon Draisaitl can't move. I have so much admiration for how frigging brilliant this player is. He's always in the right spot because he has no choice but to be in the right spot, because there's the margin for error in his movements is 0.
What is the official diagnosis? Sprained right ankle?
I don't know. Something with one of his ankles. My favorite thing to watch with him is his line changes, because he hobbles to the bench after every shift. He's broken. And we talked about this last show. I don't know how he's going to do this for another month. Like the Oilers, you know, everyone's feeling happy. Oh, we're down to the Final Four. So when you put it as the Oilers are in the Final Four, it seems like they're really close. And they are. They're closer than almost every other team. They're still halfway there.
14 games is the maximum they can play for the rest of the playoffs. That's a lot of games.
It's a lot of games.
14 games on a busted foot.
They need 8 more wins. And it's not just the games. He's gonna like walk to go get coffee, get up in the morning, put on his shoes.
Yeah, he doesn't live the rest of his life in a wheelchair or on crutches, you know? He does stuff.
He's in pain.
Yeah.
Like that's part of the reason why I sympathize so much with Jack Eichel through the not contract dispute, like the trade demand with the Buffalo Sabres. It wasn't just a trade demand. It was he wanted to get a certain type of surgery, and every moment and every day that he woke up not having that surgery was a day where his neck pained him, where he probably couldn't drive the way he wanted to, where he probably had shitty sleep. You ever try to have a good sleep with a sore neck? Not easy.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, Draisaitl is... I mean, all these guys are dealing with ridiculous pain. Did you see what Chris Tanev is dealing with?
No.
Dude's got broken... He's diagnosed with a broken everything. He shouldn't have been playing.
Let me see what the official word is.
You got to see it. But to finish what I was saying, like Connor McDavid is making his line mates better. Draisaitl is playing brilliant hockey. The fact he's able to put these numbers up while so busted is nothing short of heroic. But we know who's driving the bus here. And it's one guy, and it's Connor McDavid. And the Flames, you could see, like, Draisaitl was not getting suckered into carrying the puck. He did 2 or 3 times in the game. So they would try to get Kane to carry it in, but Kane was effective. He was effective at carrying it in.
Kane was absolutely fabulous. Let me...
and when those are your options, like, God, that's a wretched trio to deal with.
Here's the Chris Tanev injury from Rick Dhaliwal. Chris Tanev had a torn labrum, a separated shoulder, and a sprayed neck. He'll go in for surgery next week. He was playing hockey that way,
dude,
at the highest level.
And he was messed up. Like, you saw a few times he would take a hit and go back to the bench, and they'd be working on him. But work on what? Work on what? How do you there's no massaging a tear.
A torn labrum.
You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, hockey players are ridiculous. And he was effective. I thought he was an effective player. Maybe not as much as he would be. But one of the criticisms with his deal was, oh boy, that's a really long deal. This guy's got hard miles. Those miles just got harder.
This might be soft of me. You know, some stronger man might call me soft, but I wish there was a little bit more protection from team doctors of somebody who was going through this and trying to play on the ice.
I struggle with it. There's certain injuries I don't think you should be allowed to play through. I think the decision should be taken out of your hands. One of them is a concussion.
Yes.
And the other, and I don't remember who the player was. I remember this happened to Patrice Bergeron in 2013, and I think there was a player this year. A punctured lung on more than one occasion. Look it up. Look at it. Someone, oh man.
You said it was Bergeron?
It was Bergeron in 2013. Go look up Bergeron like after the Bruins were done in the Stanley Cup final, the list of injuries. Someone, I want to say it was with the Score in Toronto, wrote an article like basically about like, dude, he could have died. You know? But if a guy wants to play with a sprained neck, if he wants to play with a torn labrum, a separated shoulder, I don't know.
Jack Eichel played the last 26 games of the season with a broken thumb. Do you remember that? That came out a couple weeks ago.
So we neglected to talk about that.
Because it like broke on like a Friday. I think we just forgot about Monday came around.
Yeah, like that's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Like coming fresh off of neck surgery, hasn't played hockey in months and months, and then he played the majority of it with a broken thumb.
Because he refused to miss more time.
Yeah, and we're like, oh, Jack Eichel, loser.
Yeah, we got on him for not having the best time in Vegas, like performance in Vegas.
He could have gone on LTIR.
Yeah,
for them, he would have the Vegas Golden Knights would have been 100% justified, which to me lends to more questions. They were looking for guys to put on LTIR, and they didn't put him there. Why?
He wanted to play.
He wanted to play. Yeah, but again, like, is he one of your best players with a broken thumb? Mm-hmm. And if so, do you think that might be a problem?
So Bergeron back in 2013. This is Greg Wyshynski when he was writing for Yahoo.
Oh, wow.
This is way, way back. Already established, Bergeron suffered through a broken rib, torn cartilage, and muscle tissue, and a separated shoulder.
Ow.
Which he endured in Monday night's game. Game 6 lost to the Blackhawks. And then Chiarelli confirmed Wednesday that doctors also found a small puncture in his lung. Bergeron was taken to the hospital following Game 6, where they discovered the hole in his lung. The team was unclear as to when or how the lung was punctured, though it was likely from a needle as a means of freezing the cartilage or from his broken rib. So he had all of those things plus a punctured lung, and he played a game of hockey.
I just, it's important that teams have trainers and doctors. I don't think a team doctor in hockey or any sport can properly do their job. Because if you go, yeah, Bergeron can't play, and the Bruins lose the Stanley Cup, it's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
So you're definitely going to be getting pressure from the player, probably from the coach, probably from the GM, probably from the owner. And then you got to deal with the potential backlash of the fans, because if they're mad at you, they'll leak that it was your decision. Or they might just straight up say, the doctor said he can't go.
The coaches say that all the time. You know,
Babcock was big on that.
Yeah.
If he's available, he'll play. If he's not, he won't.
They tell me
that.
Oh,
underratedly kind of.
You're taking side shots.
Yeah, like there's a subtext there for sure. There's a if this guy doesn't play tonight, it's not my fault. It's their fault.
It wasn't my call.
It wasn't my call,
Yeah.
and it becomes a more difficult decision. To me, like I think you gotta take that decision out of the doctor's hands. Like, they can't be employed by the team. Listen, what is a hockey team there to do?
Win hockey games.
Yep.
Entertain fans.
Yep.
Play hockey.
Yep.
That's
So
kinda it.
no, that's it. So let's say Patrice Bergeron is at 70%. Is he still not one of the better players in the National Hockey League?
Oh, yeah.
Is he still not one of the better players on the Bruins?
Oh, yeah.
Does it hurt the Bruins if a 70% Patrice Bergeron is out of the lineup?
Yes.
So the team doctor is directly acting against the team's goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. So that's a team employee. They cannot be taxed with that decision.
It's so tough, too, because, like, let's say you broke your thumb. Like, let's say you're Steve Dangle, you break your thumb, and then you go to your doctor, and you're like, I got my broken thumb, it's going to heal in, 4 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
And you say, I'm going to go out on Saturday and play hockey with my buddies. People are like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, no,
Steve,
they'd be like,
stay home.
You're a moron. Yeah.
These guys, they break their thumb, and they're like, all right, I can find a way to play. It's such a different circumstance and world Like, okay, your job doesn't depend on playing hockey, but the medical decision is that you leave it to heal. And they're not making just strictly medical decisions. They're making decisions, but also trying to find a way to get this guy to play. So if it's possible to do both, heal it and play, they're going to find a way to do that.
And like, I think it's okay to play with certain injuries.
Yeah.
And, especially if the player wants to. The player has to want to. If they're being pressured or coerced into doing it, I think that's very problematic. But Chris Tanev probably wanted to play.
Yeah, because there's a thing we've talked about several times where if a player wants to be out for the rest of the year, they can say, okay, I got this, I'm done.
Evander Kane with the Jets.
Yep. And now I don't want to play the last 15 games. I'm going to go get surgery on this thing that I've had for the last year.
Yep.
They can just make those calls.
Isn't a torn labrum what was screwing up? Didn't Robin Lehner have a torn labrum? There's something with the shoulder.
I don't remember. Yeah. But that was another case where it's iffy on if he needs the surgery now or if we can delay it and he can still play.
Yeah. And you're playing through, not just playing through pain, you're living through pain. And then your coach takes a shit on you in the media. And you're like, fuck you, I'm going to go have surgery.
Yeah.
What am I doing this for? Why am I sleeping uncomfortably? Again, this is his shoulder. So this is screwing up every aspect of his life. It's screwing up his nights and his mornings. It's screwing up the way he starts every single day. And then he drives to practice where he's going to be in pain. And then he spends his time after practice getting treatment on that shoulder because he's in pain. And then he shows up to the arena for the game and he probably gets some work done because he's in pain. Then he plays in pain. And then after the game, he gets some work done in pain. And then he tries to sleep through the pain. Oh, but our goalie was second best tonight. Fuck you. If I'm Robin Lehner, you know what I mean? Like, I 100% see why he was like, no, you know what? I'm getting surgery. Fuck off.
And there's a reason DeBoer's not in Vegas anymore.
Yeah. And like, and to even sit there on the bench, oh, well, he's not going to play for like cap reasons. I'm still sitting there and I'm in pain every day. So when a player like Chris Tanev is willing to make the sacrifice of playing through that pain, it's not just playing through that pain. Like, these guys have kids. Dude, like, my wife has come to me and she's been like, oh my God, like, something's out. Something's messed up. And I'll be like, what did you do? And she'll be like, well, I've been holding Leo on my side, on this one side, basically every day for a month. Or no, you know what it was? He was sick and off from daycare. So she took some time off and she was basically handling him the whole time and like injured herself as a result. Damn. So like, if you have a kid, and I don't remember if Chris Tanev does, but like, you can't play with your kid the way that you want to. You can't load your kid into a car. What do you do about groceries? Yeah, maybe someone delivers them to you. Who puts them in the fridge? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, just every aspect of your life is painful until you get this sorted out.
You know what? It's all for the cup.
It's all for the... And listen, if you're willing to do that, fine. But if I say I want to get this fixed, you get out of my face. I'm getting this fixed.
You don't tell me anything. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't tell me anything. And also, you don't give me any shit about my performance either. Sorry, I'm talking myself into being mad at Pete DeBoer.
Am I doing this with Robin Lehner right now?
Yeah, this little side conversation. No, because that's crazy that he did that. Dude, every aspect of my life fucking sucks right now, and you're chirping me because our team lost 4-3. Well, why did we lose 4-3 there, Pete? Because I'm fucked. Play the other guy if you don't like me.
Outline everything that's going on with Robin Lehner and like just an injured player's life. Pete DeBoer deserves to be skewered for saying shit. Like, how dare you?
You've never hurt yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, you ever try to get through a day after like cutting a toenail too short?
Or even like you have like Adam right now. He's got sore throat and runny nose. And like, it's a hard life.
Yeah. But like, for a guy who talks for a living, I lost my voice during the first round and I was like, oh, this is going to complicate things.
Now imagine your labrum is torn.
Yeah. Dude, I started to lose my voice while recording the audiobook. And I was like, I literally can't do this.
You
like,
gotta take a pause.
No. Like, I can't lose my voice. So I stopped talking. I was drinking tea 24/7 because it's not just like, there's too many people involved in this process for me to halt the entire damn thing. And like, I'm not Robert Pattinson. I can't be like, sorry guys, I'm a megastar.
Sorry,
we need to delay
production.
Batman.
Yeah.
Like,
so you couldn't even take a pause. You had to find other ways in your life to stop every talking and then continue the book.
just drink a shitload of tea and coconut oil and hope for the best. And I made it through it. But yeah, I mean, that wasn't pain. That was now we're getting completely sidetracked. But yeah, there's certain injuries I think players should be able to make that decision on. There's certain injuries where they shouldn't.
Let me ask you something. You're heading into the shower.
Fine.
What's your number one goal?
Get unstinky.
Have no pubes.
That.
How can we accomplish that, Adam?
How do I get there, Adam?
If you have the lights,
How do I do it?
If you don't have any lights in your bathroom, you could use the Manscaped tool, and it has a 4000K LED light, so you can still see. How about that? You can then follow that up by lathering on the new Ultra Premium Body Wash with aloe vera and sea salt. And when it's your hair care time, apply the 2-in-1 shampoo. And when you hop out of the shower, it's the Manscaped aluminum-free deodorant. If you have tattoos or dry skin like I do, no tattoos, just dry skin. I'm not that cool. Let your skin use the hydrating body moisturizer spray. It's infused with the power of red algae from the Pacific Ocean. And of course, you can finish that off by plumping up those sexy lips with Manscaped lip balm.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, man.
Listen, you know what we're talking about here. Get 20% off and free shipping with Manscaped. Use the promo code DANGLE. Again, 20% off and free shipping. Use the promo code DANGLE. Accomplish all your shower goals, Jesse, like
Having no pubes.
it's time to get wet, but be clean and soft with Manscaped's shower routine. If you're tired of paying high interest and you need to consolidate your credit card, you should check out Lightstream. A lot of people don't realize this, but credit cards have terribly high interest rates. Even if you got excellent credit, it could be 20% or 30% or even higher. So stop overpaying and take control of your finances. Lightstream believes people with great credit deserves a great rate, and that's what they give you. It's way lower than most credit cards. And if you've got credit card debt that's been hanging around for a while, you might feel stuck with those high rates. Lightstream can actually work for you to get the payments down and the interest down. So you might want to check this out. Go to lightstream.com/STP. That's lightstream.com/STP. Apply now to get a special interest rate discount and save even more. Subject to credit card approval, rates from 5.73 APR to 19.99 APR. It includes 0.5 auto pay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/STP for more information. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. And listen, life can be overwhelming. A lot of people are feeling burned out. You might not even know it. And if you're feeling burnt out, it can be lack of motivation. You feel helpless. You feel trapped, detached. Burnout for me really is, I relate it to being in like the oven for too long. You know what I mean? At the end of the hockey season, usually I'm close to that. And it's sort of like if I have a hard time getting up for the show, if I have a hard time, if I'm looking at the show going, this seems too overwhelming to me, that's when I know I'm in burnout mode. Because I love doing this.
Well, I never.
It's happened to me.
That's when you know the fries are burnt.
That's right. Now, we
the
associate
oven.
it with
The
work,
oven.
but it's not the only cause, and BetterHelp can help with that. They've customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. So you don't even have to be on camera. You know, for a lot of people, they don't want to be in the same room. They don't want to be on camera. It's too much. And BetterHelp is great with that. They also get you a therapist within 48 hours. Which is really a big challenge for people that finally make that decision. So this podcast, as I told you, sponsored by BetterHelp, and Steve Dangle Podcast listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/SDP. Again, that's BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/SDP.
Are we going to get McDavid McKinnon?
Oh man. I don't know if we can handle that.
Do the Avs close it out? Or we talked a little with David Bastel about this. They have demons. We know what happens in the second round usually with the Avs. They can't make it through.
I don't know if you can lose in a more heartbreaking way than the way the Avs did in Game 5. To blow the 3-goal lead, have a hero throw his cape on, and bring you out of the abyss with less than 3 minutes to go. And then to blow that with time left on the clock and lose in overtime, that's agony.
Mm-hmm.
That's agony. And I can't imagine the doubt just seeping through the Colorado Avalanche locker room right now. This might be one of those situations. Dude, the Leafs lost game 5 to Montreal. I was like, they're fine. The Leafs lost game 6. I went, they're fucked.
It's over.
It's over. I look at the Avs and I'm like, they lose game 5. They're fine. They lose tonight. So like if Dave Bastel was still here and I got to put money down, I'm having a real hard time putting money on the Avs to win game 7. That's
the scary
hard.
part of the Blues for me is one of the stats I was looking at is that 10 players in game 5 had a point. 10 different Blues had a point. And this is something that's carried over from the regular season is it's not that they get scoring, it's that they get scoring from everyone.
They don't have like super duper stars. They just get consistent production from everyone.
I believe the number is 7 20-goal scorers this season.
Wow.
That right there is consistency.
I don't even know if I can name them all.
No, you can't. You want to try?
I do want to try.
Okay. In the middle of our discussion,
No,
we
I
shall
don't
do
care.
some... What?
No, you threw a stat in front of me. I have to try.
Okay. This is St. Louis Blues trivia with Steve Dangle. I'm going to pull up their regular season stats here. And you are going to try and guess every 20-goal scorer from the 2021 NHLC. I can never remember what year it is anymore with the pandemic. You're going to try and guess every 20-goal scorer. Steve Dangle, I have the list. I think it's even more than I guessed. I said,
Oh my
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
You're joking.
9 players on this team finished the regular season with 20 or more goals. And Justin Falk, there's your free space on the bingo card, did not. He finished with 16.
Holy shit.
So there you go. Steve Dangle, the floor is yours. Name every 20-goal scorer from the Blues.
Okay, to simplify this, the second I get one wrong, I'm done.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Second I get one wrong, I'm done.
Okay.
Okay.
We're
Making it hard.
It's a single knockout playoffs for Steve.
Jordan Kyrou. Oh my God.
No, he is on the
Oh
list.
my friggin' God.
All right, 1.
He's more of a playmaker, so this is a little risky, but I'm going to say Robert Thomas.
2.
Vladimir Tarasenko.
3.
Braden Shen.
4.
Ryan O'Reilly.
5.
I said Tarasenko. Barbashev.
6.
Yes. Okay.
Wow.
See, Buchnevich missed so much time with injury, though. Who else is on the Blues? They have so many underrated guys. I'm going to say Buchnevich.
7.
Oh, man. Who else do they got? Oh, my God. I feel like I've named half the team. Now I'm just naming Blues. Have I missed, like, an obvious one?
Am I allowed to say it?
No. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
The people are screaming at their phones right now.
Oh my God, I feel like an idiot. I feel like I've named their all-stars. I said Kyrou.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I'm missing 2?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
You're so close. This is very impressive.
There's no Bozak didn't. I'm not guessing Bozak. That wasn't my guess.
That's not your guess.
I'm very upset. Oh fuck. I might have to punch out.
Give me a name.
Oh
Give me a name.
God. I gotta punch out. I gotta punch out.
Steve, really? Really? He's on your network.
No!
Alan Wolf's client, David Perron.
Oh my God!
How did you forget Perron?
I don't know. I don't know.
What the fuck is
I'm
wrong
so
with you?
mad. Oh,
That was the free. The other's free square.
that's so disappointing.
You got 7,
What
and
a
then you
dumbass.
bailed out.
I got Barbashev.
I know. You got Bushnevich, who you said missed a lot of time. He played 73 games.
Oh, okay. You missed 9 games.
Yeah, 9 games. Not bad.
Well, and who's the 9th?
Brandon Saad.
Oh, I wouldn't have gotten
No. Saad was the hard one. But I thought you'd get Perron
What a
and then
dumbass.
stump on Saad.
I'm pissed.
Yeah, you this fucking idiot.
I mean, is it better that I missed that way, or like I would have sat here for half an hour if I got to 8.
Right.
I would have never punched out and be like, no, it'll come to me. I forgot Saad was on the Blues. Damn.
Yeah. I can't believe you forgot Perron. So
What an idiot. I've been raving about him all playoffs.
right.
What a stupid idiot.
Talking about him 2 episodes ago for running at Kadri, all that stuff.
Almost every damn episode. I talked about him yesterday, and dang it. Oh my God, what a stupid idiot.
The performance by these Blues after being down 3-0 in the middle of the second, it was heroic.
Oh.
What a great game for them, and that balanced scoring is what really stands out to me. Is every guy up and down the lineup knows their role and they can all score and contribute. It's fantastic to see. But I don't
Hard playoff team.
I don't think they can win 2 in a row.
Well, it'd be 3.
Well, 2 more in a row.
Right.
Oh, it's close.
Oh man. To get 5 goals in such quick succession.
And the McKinnon goal should have been the backbreaker. You know, somebody does something that disgusting to you,
Oh.
and you don't let it get to you, and you come back and you still win the game.
And the Avs defense is so good.
Yeah.
Like, man, it really shows how much they miss Sam Girard. Like, I don't even really know if he would be out in that sort of situation, like at the end of the game there. But I think the pressure probably stays on and they don't completely flub a 3-0 lead.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, Avs fans, I've seen this before. They lose game 6. It's demons with a capital D.
You better win game 6 because game 7's a toss-up.
You don't want to play. I producer Drew was like, I don't even know if I could watch game 7.
Oh, yeah. I always forget he's the biggest Avs fan in the world.
Dude, he is, in terms of watching the game live, he is way crazier than I am.
Oh, yeah?
He's so much more anxious. All he did all season long was like send me doom texts about the Avs. The Avalanche. What?
The best team in hockey.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, like no one is more friggin', oh yeah, Makar's, he's the best defenseman on earth. Nathan McKinnon, I love him. Oh, Kadri. And then, oh man, this team friggin' sucks. We got to trade Kemper. I don't know about this guy. Oh man, it's a tough one.
Before we wrap, do you have any thoughts on Hurricanes Rangers? Hurricanes completely dominated, I thought, even though they don't put
Yeah, they were at home.
They're 7-0 at home during these playoffs. I don't know what's going on and why they're a completely different team on the road, but they dominated in that performance versus the Rangers. And even though they don't put up a lot of goals, they find a way just to shut everything down and make it not very fun for anybody watching or playing that game. And they managed to put up a dominating 3-1 win.
Who's overachieving in these playoffs? Based on expectations.
I think a lot of people would say the Oilers.
Yep, I agree.
Based on their path, I don't think you could say the Hurricanes.
Nope.
No. The Lightning, I think a lot of people, at the end of the season, everyone's like, oh, are they still going to do it? And now we've seen them in the playoffs. We're like, okay, you're sweeping Florida. You're kind of outperforming what we think you are. But I guess they're even.
The fashion in which they did it is impressive, but no one's like, oh, Tampa in the Final Four.
Out of nowhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
The reigning Cup champs.
Right. And
Yeah.
then who else we got? The Avs and the Blues.
I don't really think the Blues.
No. The Avs are the Avs.
Avs are the Avs.
Yeah.
Rangers.
You think so?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, they shouldn't have. They came back from 3-1 down to beat the Penguins.
That's true.
They should have never won that series.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't have to play the Penguins' third goalie, they probably don't. But we have one Cinderella team in the Final Four and another one who, if they lose one of the next 2 games, turns into a pumpkin. And I don't want that. I don't want that train to end though. Listen, we got to get, I like 1 Game 7 per round. Final 4 and Stanley Cup final, whatever. But first 2 rounds, give me at least 1 Game 7. And I hope we didn't use them all up in the first round because there were a lot.
The first round was so good.
That was an excellent first
That was
round.
one of the best first rounds in like recent memory.
There were, what was it, 3 Game 7s in one day?
Yeah, and then the Sunday had 2.
That rules!
Like the weekend was
5!
fantastic.
Yeah, that's really,
Yeah.
really good shit.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen in Game 6 because the Hurricanes could just not show up because it's a road game. So
I mean, imagine getting to the Final Four and you still haven't won a road game.
they could do it. They could win the Stanley Cup technically and not win because
Depending on who they play, yeah.
say they face the Oilers, then
Yeah.
they have the Game 7 at home.
That's so dumb.
And they go to the Stanley Cup Finals and never win a road game.
What a silly sport.
It's ridiculous. You must have been very happy when McDavid scored the OT winner because that means you get to go to a concert on Monday.
Slipknot. Yeah. It's very cool. No, I gotta, well, this is another reason why I'm cheering for Game 7 is, like, I have this fear that they're going to start the third round early if all teams are sitting there ready. Please, I really hope not. Because I got an Instagram DM like a month ago from Jay Weinberg, who's Max Weinberg's son. Max Weinberg, who longtime drummer for Bruce Springsteen and also Conan O'Brien,
Who was on
Agent Provocateur, and you can go and listen to that episode now. His son, Jay Weinberg, is the new drummer for Slipknot. And I got a message from him, and he's like, "Hey, I heard this segment where you said your dad was in a metal band or something." I think he saw my Easter Seals video. And we're going to be in Toronto at the end of May. I was wondering if you wanted to come and bring your dad. I was like, yes.
That's unbelievable.
Yes, Jay Weinberg. I would like to come to a Slipknot show with my dad.
Unreal.
My 65-year-old dad.
Yeah.
He might be the oldest person there.
No, there's no way.
Probably not. I don't know.
Your dad's gonna love it.
I think so.
I'm so happy that this is happening.
Oh my God. We're gonna leave that venue at 4 a.m. because my dad's gonna talk his ears off about drums. I would be very surprised if Dad left that venue without playing drums.
Bring him up on stage.
Yeah, just look. No, not during the show.
No. I want to see your dad live on stage with Slipknot.
He would, blast beats. He beats the shit out of the drums. He plays really hard. Yeah, he's Atomic Tomb. Check him out on Spotify if you like that sort of thing.
I'm very happy that it's happening and that you both are going together. Like, it would have been a real shame if you had to work.
Well, and Jay was really cool because I was like, listen, it's the day of Game 7 for Oilers Flames. I might not be able to go. Can my dad go? And he goes, yeah, that's fine. But I was like, hey, I can come. And he's like, hooray. So I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. Anything else? I think we got all the hockey stuff.
What
would you like to say to the people?
Be cool.
I'm never putting you on the spot again.
Be cool.
All right, everybody, have a great weekend.
I don't know, man. Just
it's been a heavy week.
It was a heavy
week.
Heavy week. Sit down, have a hard think to yourself who's important to you, and reach out to them.
Oh.
There's far too much. I think we spend far too much time thinking and not acting. And I'm not talking about, I'm not saying do something stupid. I'm saying, a lot of us, we go, I'm going to reach out to this person. And then we never do it. Or we get into the spiral of, well, they probably think this of me. And then you get into a fictional fight or something. No, just check in on your pals. Something I got a little bit better at during COVID, but I could always improve, and I'm sure many of us could.
I love that. There we go. That's better than be cool.
Be cool.
We'll see you guys on Monday. On Monday, I want to talk about how I was fired as GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I'm sorry.
But I wanted Adam to be here for that because somebody on our Discord tracked every single season that I was GM. and they put it in a chart, and they track like how many games I won, how far we went to the playoffs and that stuff. So I want to show you guys my record, and then if you guys can determine like if I deserve to be fired after 15 seasons as GM. But whatever, we'll talk about that on Monday.
You were like the Bruce Boudreaux of GMs,
right?
Unreal regular season resume. And actually, that's Sheldon Keefe, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, don't bring that up again.
Dude, he's got like the most ridiculous win percentage ever and can't get out of the first round.
Best in history of Toronto Maple Leafs. This is that guy. Anyways, have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you on Monday. Leafs can't get it done. Got it.
The Steve Dangle Podcast.
Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada's Sportsbook.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection